Here we are at example 6 from our 2.4 number 1 set of notes. We're asked to write an equation of a line that has a slope of 1/3 and a y-intercept of -2 in standard form. Well, as you know, we already have the slope, it's 1/3, and we also have our y-intercept. So we can go ahead and construct our equation of the line. We know that we have that slope, 1/3 in front of x, and our y-intercept is -2. Now the entire goal, though, is to write this in standard form. So in other words, we need all the x's and y's on the exact same side. Now to accomplish that, we're going to go ahead and subtract this 1/3 x from both sides. On the right side, they end up canceling out with one another. So we're left then with -1/3 x plus y is equal to -2. Now that's all great. We have all of our x's and y's on one side. However, there is a little rule when we're talking about how to write something in standard form. And the little rule says that we pretty much have to have all the variables in front of this x be positive, and on top of that, you should not end up with any kind of fraction like we're seeing here. So in other words, this negative has to turn into a positive for this x value. Well, in order to make that positive, we're going to have to multiply this entire left side by negative. Likewise, since you're multiplying by -1 really, on the left side, you have to multiply -1, or I'm sorry, if you're multiplying -1 on the left side, you have to multiply it by -1 on the right side. So when we do that, we end up distributing on the left side, ending up with 1/3 x, positive 1/3 x, minus -1 times y is just -y, is equal to -1 times -2 comes out to be a +2 on the right. Well, that takes care of the negative. Now we have to actually go ahead, though, and get rid of this fraction and end up with just a regular coefficient of a regular integer. Well, if we go ahead and multiply both sides by 3, we should end up clearing that fraction. Okay? And again, it kind of goes back to that idea where this is 1, this is 1, 3 goes into 3, 1 goes into 3, and also 1 goes into 3. So we're going to have to try and clear this fraction. By the way, it should actually work where you don't end up with any fractions in your standard form. So there shouldn't be any fractions at all using standard form. Going ahead and distributing this 3 in, we end up with 3 times 1 is 3, divided by 3, we end up with 1x. When we distribute this 3 to -y, we end up with -3y. We have to multiply on the right side as well. Multiply 3 on the left, have to multiply 3 on the right, is equal to 2 times 3 is just 6. So now notice x is positive, and there are no fractions at all in our final written form for the standard form. So in fact, this would be our standard form for, again, example 6 from our 2.4 number 1 set of notes.